When I started this YouTube channel, it was as part of a really big experiment to test whether or not my ideas about how to make all of my life and work plans come true, and dreams come true as well, could be achieved with this strategy. And as with every video on this channel, the main purpose of it is as a video diary entry, my personal video diary entry, in so much as I'm happy to share it publicly. But also, the purpose of this video is to thank all of you who've supported this channel. And by that I mean you've subscribed to the YouTube channel, and you've commented on the videos, and you've sent me supportive comments. Some of you sent them on other platforms as well. But this channel and your support of it is the reason that I think my dreams have a slightly better chance of coming true now than they did when I started the channel 2.5 years ago. We're now in August 2023, and I think the first video for this channel was February 2021. So 2.5 years ago. If it feels as though I've been neglecting this channel, it's because I have. Why have I been neglecting this channel? Which I feel very bad about, by the way. Like, I really feel bad about it. You guys have felt like a sort of cyber family to me. And those of you who I've met in real life, and there's a lot of you now, have felt like a real crew, you know, a real support crew. More than you will realize psychologically, you guys have been a real support crew for me. And that's why I feel bad that I've neglected this channel. But if I explain the reason why, it doesn't make it any better that I've neglected it, but at least for those of you who are wondering, it might help you understand. So I've told all of you from the beginning that I've started this channel to document my attempt to make my dream of taking my family around the world in a seaplane come true. To at least document my attempts to make that dream come true. What I didn't tell you is that actually the other reason for starting this channel was precisely as a step towards making it happen. And it's too early to say whether I'm going to make it or not, but it has definitely helped take me closer. At the same time, in some ways, I'm feeling further away than ever. I have had an incredibly difficult 12, 18 months. In the same way that a marathon runner, like an ultra marathon runner, is having a very difficult time running the ultra marathon. That's because ultra marathons are very, very difficult to run. So everything that has been happening, and some of you may remember the bombshell video way back, I think it was November 2021. And the reason why I'm sitting in this unfamiliar place is as a result of one of those bombshells going off and me getting caught in the blast. I've pegged all of my future hopes and dreams and that of my family to the success of my business, Best Agent, the property website, Best Agent. And I don't believe in when you're going to take a punt, when you're going to gamble your career on something, I don't believe in doing anything less than 100%. Because if you don't give it 100%, and by that I mean risk everything for it, you'll never know if it might have worked if you'd just given it that 100%. And I have also chosen to do it without investors, which has made it infinitely harder in the short term, but ultimately I believe is going to be a decision that will be one of the reasons that it does succeed if it succeeds. But that's what's made it feel like running an ultra marathon. bootstrapping a business that should have had millions of pounds invested externally, but hasn't, and which I've had to fund myself out of various ventures and side ventures, and by adopting strategies that would be laughed out of the room if you ever tried to present them to an investor. For example, I'm going to buy an airplane, and I'm going to use the airplane to build a YouTube following, and I'm going to use that to build my skills on YouTube to then build an audience for my target audience of home movers and agents. I'm going to buy an airplane to do that. Is that okay, Mr. Investor? Can I do that with your money? So almost exactly a year ago, on my Moving Home with Charlie YouTube channel, which is the second of the 3 channels, this being the first, Moving Home Charlie being second, and Best Agent being the third. This time last year, I had about 200 subscribers on that channel. Today, I have 15,600 subscribers on that channel. Good evening, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday, isn't it? Yes, it is. It is Wednesday. And that channel and the way it's taken off has been what has totally consumed my time, my state of mind, my energy, and has become the hardest part of the ultra marathon, on top of everything else that I've already had going on anyway. And it's given me a very small taste of that nasty, icky thing called fame. And it really is a very tiny taste, but I have had it because I now get people coming up to me and saying hello on a reasonably regular basis. Like, it probably once a week when I'm out and about in public, someone will come up and say, "Hi, I've seen your videos." It's also led to me getting a bit of TV coverage. I was on Channel 5 News. I've been on GB News a couple of times, much to lots of people's raised eyebrows. But, you know, much like a doctor doesn't decide who they do or don't help based on their beliefs, politically or religion or otherwise, I'm here to help people move home, whoever they are.
Property expert and advisor Charlie Lamdin joins me on the programme.
We have a free market. And the problem that we've got, and the reason there's such a housing problem, is because whilst the government is expected to solve housing problems, it leaves it to the private sector to do so.
So I have been accepting any offers of publicity because when you're bootstrapping and you don't have a marketing budget, that's what you have to do. I have been failing to take care of myself physically. I've been failing to take care of myself mentally. I have been failing to take care of my family properly. All because I've had to take opportunities as they've come. I've even turned down, I've had to turn down some newspaper and live TV opportunities because I've just been too overrun. And yet, it just feels like the beginning. As a direct result of this channel, I've had some awesome things happen. One of which I've done a video of, I've got the footage of, but the video is taking a long time to edit. But one of you contacted me when I was in Singapore. Remember when I did that little vlog from Singapore when I went out for my friend's 50th earlier this year? And you invited me to have a go on an Airbus A380 simulator, which was a day I will remember for the rest of my life. It was just incredible.
Adrenaline is already, I'm absolutely buzzing.
Wait till you take off.
So hopefully that video will get finished and shared with you all. It's got quite a few hoops to get through in order to be published. It might be something I have to send out private links to. It depends on whether or not British Airways are happy to sign it off. But, oh my God, thank you. You know who you are. I'm not going to name you in case I shouldn't name you, but thank you so much for making that happen. That was a money can't buy experience, which I will remember for the rest of my life. It really was. It was mind-blowing. And I'm not exaggerating, guys. I'm not exaggerating. It genuinely was a life-alteringly cool experience. Let alone as a pilot, just as anyone being able to get to do that. Luna. But back to the reasons that I started this channel for a minute. First of all, it was an experimental boot camp for myself. Can I make videos? Can I become a social media content publisher and be good enough at it to build a big enough following to make up for the fact that I don't have a marketing budget to build my moving consumer audience to get people to start using Best Agent, which at this point, whilst it's come a long way, is still not yet completely ready. It's live, it's out there, it's working, and it's coming along really nicely, but it's just still not quite there yet. So I've learned a lot about being a YouTuber. I also learned, and the unexpected thing that I learned was this: it has a really dark and parasitic effect on your state of mind. I won't go into any more than that, but in my researching of being a YouTuber, I watched so many other YouTubers, and there were some I really got to enjoy watching. And one of the things I noticed is that one at a time, all of them at some point or other had some kind of meltdown and stopped YouTubing, and then came back and said, "I'm really sorry, I had some sort of episode." You know, it is a deeply unhealthy thing to do for your state of mind. And it's a battle I'm having to fight on the Moving Home with Charlie channel, because now that I've got 15,000 subscribers on YouTube, I've got 28,000 on TikTok, I've got 8,000 on Twitter, which is also now where I do videos. But you get this tiny minority of, I mean, the idiot trolls are easy, you just block those and ignore them, that's no problem. But you get these other ones who are sort of quite clever about it, and they get under your skin, and it's horrible, because what they do is they steal your state of mind. They steal your thoughts away from where you want to have your thoughts, right? You want to be thinking about your family and about positive things, about progress and everything else. And yet these guys can just, like, with one of them, they can get inside your head, and it's like, why is it in my head? It's horrible. And I am still working on, it doesn't matter who you are. It can't not get to you. It gets to you. And if you let it get to you too badly and you don't find a way to deal with it, it will take you down.
That is what made that hole. It's 4:30 a.m. I've been up for 3 hours. Honestly, the more I think about it, the more I think this YouTube channel is just catharsis for me. Just outside Oslo in Norway, where I have been put into quarantine.
I can't. You better not put that on YouTube.
So the second reason for doing this channel, and it was a reason I was happy to do the experiment, even if the experiment hadn't worked, was to create a video diary, and to create especially a family one and our family trips, especially the flying ones, but other ones too. And there's been the most magical, unexpected benefit of doing that, which is that the children just love going back and watching the old vlogs. In fact, it's partly those guys nagging me recently saying, "Daddy, when are you going to do more vlogs? You haven't done any, we haven't seen any new ones for ages." So they love watching the old vlogs and reminding them of trips that they've done. I mean, you know, Archie was 3 when I started this channel and doesn't remember a lot of it. And so some of the videos of back then, he loves seeing. And it's really given me a sort of extra layer of depth for doing these, because the kids go back and watch them over and over again, and that's just wonderful. They're getting to relive our happy times together, and that's worth its weight in gold. And another reason why I'm doing this, and by the way, Archie and Clara, if you're watching this, put in the comments underneath how old you are now. Today, when I'm filming this, Clara, you're 8, Archie, you're 6, and Daphne, you're 1 at the moment. If you're watching this when you're older, say hello in the comments, or come and tell me how old you are and that you're watching this video. The third reason for doing this channel is about documenting flying and trying to become a better pilot. And my God, it's done that in absolute spades, more than I ever imagined. And the new friends I've made through this channel, friends in aviation, you guys know who you are. it's just amazing. It's so good to have you as friends that I wouldn't have as a result of this channel. That's another reason that on its own it makes this channel worth doing. The new friends that I've made in aviation because of it. In fact, just yesterday I got a message from one of the other guys who flies the seaplane in Norway, Nico, saying that he was flying it around Stavanger, and when he read out the tail number over the radio, ATC said, "Is that Charlie Lamdin?" So if you're ATC guys on Norway watching this, hi. Thanks for watching my videos. But wow, yeah, the flying adventures I've had. If you haven't seen them, some of the best flying adventures have been my attempt to fly to Norway, but you know, my flight to Norway on my own in the 182, when Belgian ATC turned me back, and then I ended up being thrown into a quarantine hotel when I finally arrived in Norway. I'm currently on a walk. Permitted walk from my quarantine hotel. My hotel is, oh, you can't see it, it's over there. My nightmare seaplane flight in Bergen with Archie, which is the day I should have said no go. That's one of the most watched videos on the channel, actually. The number of you that came forward from all over the world, experienced pilots, seaplane pilots, offering me your wisdom was just overwhelming. And especially, I can't remember your name, but if you're watching, one of you from South America who's a lifelong commercial pilot and GA pilot, and we had that FaceTime audio call, and you just shared your wisdom with me for half an hour. I mean, how cool is that? It's just magical that the aviation community is like that. Yes, of course, you get a lot of the guys who go, "You're an idiot, you shouldn't be flying." Okay, guys, that's just not a constructive, positive attitude in flying. And it also scares people away from flying. And what we should be doing in aviation is attracting people and not pretending that we don't make mistakes. Because I've yet to meet a pilot that doesn't make mistakes. But also some very, very happy flights. Some really happy flights, my most recent one. So this is an important thing. It's a video that's, as we speak, I know it's being edited. I finally got the whole family, including Daphne, to Norway. And those of you who've watched the more recent videos will have noticed that I've been flying a Cessna 206 out there. A couple of major milestones towards flying my whole family around the world in a seaplane. A couple of major milestones were reached during that holiday in Norway, which was back, I think, in June. That video has taken some time to bring to fruition because life and bombshells and other stuff that's happened. As I record this in the middle of August, some of you will be thinking, "Hey Charlie, when's Dusty coming out of annual?" The annual he went into at the end of February. So yeah, it's the 6-month annual. And the worst thing about the fact that it's taken 6 months is that there were no major problems with the plane. It's like, it's been a really lucky annual. It's an owner-assisted annual. That's one reason it's taken a very long time. The second reason is that the FAA-approved engineer that has to oversee what I'm doing and do some of the work on the plane himself and sign it off has had major life reasons that he hasn't been able to get down to help get it finished himself. So my life getting in the way, his life getting in the way. And then finally we got it finished just in time, I thought, to be able to fly to the Scillies for our annual trip to the Scilly Isles. And then on the last day, the final run-ups, had a lumpy cylinder, misfiring cylinder number 5, and I've got to get that fixed. That's not yet been fixed. Hopefully that's going to be fixed very, very soon. The annual will get signed off and the plane will be back in the air and I will have a plane. And by the way, amazing news is that the compressions I was so worried about, I'll talk about it in another video, but the compressions were the best they've ever been on all cylinders. All of them in the 70s. I didn't think that could happen. But it has, which brings me on to the last thing. So running this ultra marathon of making Best Agent work whilst homeschooling, which by the way, already goes down in my life as the best decision I ever made. The previous best decision I ever made was getting my Dalmatian dog, Bingo, back in 2007, 2008 when I got him. That was the best conscious decision I ever went out and did something having decided to do it. Bootstrapping Best Agent, homeschooling my kids with Anne-Marie, trying to keep my flying going when my state of mind, not only because of the insipid, nasty effect of being a social media person, it's just, I mean, that is just so toxic for anyone's state of mind. I can't overstate that. And having to continue to endure that, by the way, knowingly going out and enduring that, coupled with the bombshells that have gone off, the reason I'm here, on many occasions when everything was good to go flying, I wasn't good to go flying. My state of mind was not good enough to go flying, and I had to call it. I've lost a lot of flying because of that. And at times it's really made me think, should I keep it going? But every time I get close to, I've come close to selling the plane a couple of times. I'm so glad I didn't. I've come very close to having a share, selling a share in the plane. I'm so glad I haven't. The fact that I haven't has made the financial side of life even harder, which adds to the strain as well. And of course, you know, no matter how many grown-up, adult world, real world strains there are, your kids don't care when they're small. They just want you to have you around with lots of energy. And I've been failing on that. And that's probably one of my biggest, I can't call it a regret because I've been consciously doing it, but it's probably my biggest failure is not spending enough time with the kids. And it's something that is top of my list to fix. And one of the ways I want to fix it is in how I'm going to react, how we are reacting to this latest bombshell. I've never talked about the home that I've lived in, my Devon home. And one of the reasons is that since before I started this channel, I have been in a legal battle over my occupation of that home. Nutshell story. Back in 2012, I rented the home from the owners of the home. It transpired that they hadn't paid their mortgage for 4 years at the point that they started renting it to me. They were evicted, not me, but they were evicted as the owners by bailiffs. It came out of the blue. They just turned up at the door when I'd been there 18 months. I then negotiated with the person who'd arranged their eviction to stay there for a while. I ended up purchasing an interest in the property that was registered on the land registry's title deeds. And then my landlord's original lender, mortgage lender, Bank of Scotland, decided that they wanted the property back, and I wanted to defend. I had, knowing that that was a potential outcome, I still had a genuine financial interest in the property that I wanted to try and defend. So I fought their attempts to take the property back, ultimately culminating in an agreement to buy the property at an agreed price in March 2023. The end of March 2023, I reached an agreement with the bank to buy the property at an agreed price, and immediately started the process of buying it, one part of which was getting a full survey done. When the details of the survey came back, my lenders said no, and they pulled out at that price. They said, you're going to have to go back and renegotiate the price because it's just clearly not worth it. And when I contacted the bank to say, I sent them a copy of the survey. It was a full, detailed, level 3 building survey of a grade 2 grade 2 listed property, 62 pages. And it spelled it out. But in a nutshell, it said that I was going to need to spend 50% of the purchase value of the property, again, on just arresting the most serious problems of the property. The bank's response, which we got, I think 2 days before we were due to go to the Scilly Isles, was a 21-day eviction notice. House I lived in for 12 years, the only house my children have ever known, and the house that I thought we were going to be buying and become our forever home, was plucked from us 2 days before we were due to go on holiday with family to the Scilly Isles. That was 4 weeks ago. And on 7 days ago today, we left. We moved out. It was a horrible, rushed exit. We asked the Bank of Scotland for another 7 or 14 days to make a more orderly exit. They said no. 12 years later, 12 and a half years actually. And it's finally time to move out of this amazing location, but with less than suboptimal neighbours, to put it that way. Yeah, that's what their neighbours are doing. So, we've had an amazing time here, like really amazing time here. 12 years of very happy memories. It's time to move on. Very happy to be moving on. I'll miss it, but I also won't miss it, if you know what I mean. Right now, as I record this video, we don't have a home. So we are staying with very generous family who've agreed to put us up. We've already had our time horribly and avoidably wasted by some agents who've behaved incredibly badly. All of which I'm probably going to document in due course. But as I say here today, we've got 4 more properties to view this week. And hopefully soon we'll be in a new home. So we were going to buy, we're now going to be rented. Right now we are squeezed into, actually we've pretty much booted a family member out of their own home so we can stay there. So kind and generous of them. And that's proper bombshell. I knew that the potential for this existed all along because I was negotiating and having this legal wrangle with the Bank of Scotland for several years, as it turned out. But I had everything lined up. I'd shelled out money on conveyancing, shelled out money on survey, shelled out money on a mortgage broker that I'd actually met before the guys that I worked with, Moving with Charlie. Everything lined up to go ahead and buy the house. I think it's going to turn out to be a blessing in disguise. The place was actually cursed, I think, and our neighbours turned into just real life trolls of an order you can't imagine. Just disgusting. Cutting off our water supply, cutting off our electricity, cutting off our gas. They behaved shockingly badly. Just a crazy old man next door. So on top of everything else, running this ultra marathon, building Best Agent with my team, meeting payroll every month, making videos for Moving Home with Charlie, keeping growing my audience, which has started to generate another line of income that I wasn't expecting, over and above YouTube. We now have all of our stuff in storage and don't know where we're going to be living next. And I haven't cried once in this video. But I think that's the point where I'm going to wrap it up. Other than that, guys, all it remains for me to say on this video is thank you. A genuine, sincere, deep and heartfelt thank you of gratitude, because literally it is because of your viewing of this channel and supporting of it that Best Agent has moved forward. I now have a method of making Best Agent successful on the back of my other YouTube channels, and my seaplane flying has moved forward. My pilot progress has been severely slowed down, but I am still progressing. I'm now checked out on a 206 and can fly my whole family in a 206 seaplane. I have all but completed the annual on the plane, and that'll be back up in the air soon. And I'm going to be doing more frequent vlogs on this channel, as much as possible aviation related, but other stuff as well, because it's a personal video diary. And I'm just genuinely grateful to all of you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye. By the way, guys, I'm in the middle of reading this book when I get the chance, which isn't very much, but wow, what an amazing story. Absolutely loving this book.